Grossi Posse Packer Nation. Welcome to an episode of Packast, the podcast where you don't have to be a Packers fan, but it sure does help. I am your host, Tom Grossi, and after triumphantly beating the Chicago Bears at home at Soldier Field, the Packers decide to head on back to the greatest NFL stadium on the planet to take on one of the worst teams on the planet. And it's not necessarily because their record, because of course they had to win, because they couldn't just allow us one full weekend of being on top of the NFC North. And that is the Minnesota Vikings. And so because of that, we have a very special guest today. Not only is it her first time on Packast, but it is also her birthday. And on top of that, she has her own Vikings podcast called the Heart Skol podcast. You see what she did there? Yeah, clever as hell. And so it is my great honor to introduce AMarie Castillo. How the heck are you freaking fracking doing?
I am freaking fracking happy to be here. Yes, it's my birthday, but I can't celebrate till tomorrow. But yeah, it's going good. That was a fun way to start the season yesterday, so I'm hurting a little.
Yep.
And but feeling good.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Vikings, they showed up. They looked pretty damn good yesterday. Kirk Cousins only had to throw the ball 10 times, and the less that Kirk Cousins touches the ball, I feel like it's just the better for everybody.
And as much as I just want a running game back, so thank you, Lord. No one cares about the Vikings until it comes to fantasy football. So of course everyone's like, I need Kirk to throw the ball more because they probably have Thielen or Diggs. I'm like,
Yep.
I don't want him to throw the ball. I want to keep running the ball.
Yeah, and listen, Dalvin Cook, after obviously had his injury 2 years ago, had a bit of a shaky season last year, didn't really look to form, kind of came out with a statement game because Atlanta could not tackle that man at all.
Yeah.
Like, at all.
Yeah.
Like, they looked terrible, and the defense looked on point. So, I'm really happy that it went the way that it did yesterday because I want you to have the most hope possible. So we can absolutely just smash it into the ground and just drive it into the Earth's core. Because that's really how I find happiness in life.
The Packers haven't beat the Vikes in a while, but you guys are due for one against us. So you might actually beat us next week.
I mean, listen, I'm not going to say I'm going to be happy if the Vikings win, but please, for the love of God, don't end in a tie, because last year was it was the worst. I mean, we obviously didn't rough the passer, but we did. No one wanted to win that game. Your kicker's just like, I don't know how to make field goals. So it was just a perfect storm of terribleness, and no one likes a tie.
No one likes a flippin' tie.
No. Absolutely not. Literally, it is the definition of purple balls because we were just like, oh man, we get to see who's going to be the best. And it's like, oh no, okay, all right, see you in 10 weeks. All right, cool. But AMarie, I have a question to you, and I know that there's a special guest in the background hovering like a specter over us all. And it is Jan, Mama Viking, your mom.
Mama Viking.
Which is leading into the first topic on what did she do to you in order for you to become a fan of this just putrid fan base that just radiates hate and just gluttony and just listen, do you know what the Vikings did? They did terrible things to people. We have viewers that are Catholics, and I gotta say, the Vikings did terrible things to them. And the Packers, what did they do? They nicely packed things in their boxes so they can move on to a better life. But what did you do? You stole their stuff. So basically the question is, how did you become a Vikings fan?
You're killing her right now. She's laughing her butt off. And she's Catholic. Well, we're Catholic.
I love how you were just like, she's Catholic. Oh, wait, no.
I meant we're Catholic.
I mean, yes, we go every week.
Oh, it's so funny. So we have we were married into a Minnesota Viking family. So, that marriage lasted a year, by the way. No.
And I'm sorry, in the divorce, you took the Vikings fandom. You got the raw end of the deal. You like seriously, you could have gotten a car, you could have gotten a house, maybe like some pension action, but you took the fandom. That's what you took. Oh,
Yeah. And then I think you're just born a sports fan. I don't know. I think it's in your blood, but diehard football family in general. And Chris Carter was like, I just like fell. Chris Carter made me like fall in love with the Vikings.
yeah.
So yeah.
God. I mean, like, I have to ask, like, okay, so before the marriage, obviously, you were a fan of a better team. So what you were?
You were? Yes.
What?
Because that's the only way you could sit on the couch with my dad and watch football on Sundays to watch the Green Bay Packers. So I grew up a Packer fan. Bam.
I'm sorry. Hold on. I just have to. I have to just like collect. I have to collect my thoughts momentarily. So, okay. So, you have this wonderful connection to your father.
Yeah.
And you're just like, hey, Dad, you want to play ball? And I just see a montage of just cheese and bratwurst and Brett Favre and everything that's beautiful in the world, like the Green Bay Packers. And then you marry into, okay, listen, like we know,
In the
like
80s.
oh my God, I know it's the 80s, and like, but like women's suffrage was a thing. Like, you could like, go make a living. You didn't have to take the Vikings fandom. That's all I'm saying. Wow. Okay, so
My mom thinks it's a compliment that you think she had me like at Brett Favre because I mean she looks good for her age, but
yeah,
like Bart Starr era, okay?
you know what? That's even worse. That's even worse because you know what? Like Bart Starr, listen, Ice Bowl, right? The guy is an amazing quarterback, and you're like, no, I'm gonna leave that all behind and go and worship the devil. You know what? Okay, listen, I'm gonna break it down, because we respect everybody of all beliefs here on Packast, except for a Vikings fan. That's a different type of belief system because that's something else. But I know, some people, they grow up Catholic and then they drift away from the Catholic Church. They drift away from Jesus. So what I'm trying to say is that Vince Lombardi is like Jesus, and you can always come home. That's all I'm saying. That's all. It's been a long time. I mean, I know Aaron Rodgers is on the team. Listen, it's Aaron Rodgers or Kirk Cousins. You have a choice in this. I feel like this has just turned into an intervention. I just can't believe you're a Packers fan.
Yes.
She thinks Aaron Rodgers needs to shave his mustache.
Okay, first of all, he did. Second of all, he could tickle me with that mustache anytime, and I bet it would be delightful. And I am married to a beautiful wife, but you know what? And she understands that because listen, Aaron Rodgers is a beautiful man, and wow, like I've lost all my composure. I was like, oh man, maybe she was like a Cowboys fan or like a Browns fan, and like maybe you could come back to the you pick the Vikings, because it was a cold winter that night. But man, that was oof. Okay, all right. So that's how you became a Vikings fan through a marriage that lasted a year, and you just took it on with you. Just packed that into the bag, the horn and everything. Okay. That was good. Okay, so let's talk about things that are much better. So last year, the Vikings didn't make the playoffs, which was great.
No.
Now, 2 years ago, you were in the NFC Championship game because you did something that the Packers aren't familiar with, and that is build a team around your quarterback. And so because of that, you were able to go with a great defense, a great running game, and go to the NFC Championship against the Eagles, which, praise be, they beat you. But last year, there was a lot of high hopes, a lot of high expectations. Dalvin Cook coming back, right? The defense was supposed to still be amazing. And you got this $84 million man by the name of Kirk Cousins, which for some reason you were really excited for. But hey, I'd let you have it. And, things didn't work out like they were supposed to. So finishing at 8-7-1, what the hell happened last season from the perspective of a Vikings fan?
Well, injuries, but also our offensive line was awful.
Yeah.
And and our coaching too. The last couple of years it's been very inconsistent, and we like lose an offensive corner. We can't keep them a whole season,
Yeah.
And no running game. Awful play calling too. We did not run the ball last year at all.
No.
And excuse me, our defense has always been great, and still is. Like Anthony Barr.
No, I actually is he new? Is he
By the
from
way,
this?
did
Is
you
he from
see that
is he
first
from
play of the game yesterday? I bet Rogers was like, "Oh, woo, PTSD."
no, my cable must have cut out when that happened. So I must have, I'll have to go back and watch the highlights of that. But again, let's get back on track to the Vikings sucking because I feel like we're on better ground there. So
Yeah.
so obviously offensive line though, but that's been an issue for years now for
Oh
the
my
Vikings.
God.
And you finally addressed it. You finally addressed it in the draft because you were like, hey, we shouldn't have Kirk Cousins get murdered anymore and should have Dalvin Cook be able to run out of his own backfield. And so you're like, hey, Garrett Bradbury, come on down and be our center. Here, come on, buddy. You could do it. And so, I mean, you have to think that for this season, there's a little bit of a higher expectation considering
Correct.
last year left a little bit of a sour taste in your mouth.
Correct. And Kirk, I mean, no one likes Kirk. I like Kirk. He needs to make better decisions. He holds on to the ball too long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, let me ask you flat out, right? So, were you happy when they got Kirk Cousins?
Yes, because I mean, I wasn't like jumping for joy, but we needed a franchise quarterback because it's been a weird couple of years between like Bradford and then Teddy. If Teddy didn't get hurt, I think we would have a different story.
Yeah.
Yeah, we only like old retired quarterbacks. You know that. I'm surprised we didn't get frickin' Flacco. I was like, oh God, here we go. And then Case Keenum, he's such a build the bridge quarterback. Like that guy just goes and fixes problems. But he wasn't we had a running game. That's what got us to the NFC Championship 2 years ago.
Absolutely.
And our defense. But yeah, so this is a make or break year for Kirk for me because we know he's really good against bad teams, but
yeah. I love how that was like kind of a compliment, but you like had to sit there for a minute and pause and go, I mean, that's not really great.
Yeah, I know. And so I hope he gets out of. I think it's almost, I don't know if it's a mental thing, but I hope he proves this year. And he's acknowledging. He's like, listen, I'm a 500 winning quarterback. I need to do better. So at least he admits it. And then that's what I'm saying. This is our year. This has to be our year. He has to do something.
Yeah, I mean, because like again, Kirk Cousins to me is like that kind of guy. Like it's funny you bring up Joe Flacco because I see like a lot of similarities between the two in that like they basically they performed when they really had to, and because of that, they got a ridiculously high contract.
Yeah.
Like Joe Flacco winning the Super Bowl, and they were like, crap, I guess we have to pay him now. And then like Kirk Cousins, right, just like hitting the market at the exact right time, and you gave him 84 million reasons to come over to Minnesota. And so that's kind of like what I'm looking at too, like at the state of your franchise of talking about like a make or break. Obviously, you have a very good team. Sorry, I vomited a tiny bit, but you have a very good team, but like the train is eventually like going to be blowing its whistle for the cap.
But that's what I'm saying is like this is the year. Like if we're going to go somewhere, it has to be this year because Zimmer's built an amazing team, and I think my favorite thing about yesterday too is we were like way more well balanced. I was like, whoa, look, offense and defense. Wow, what a concept.
Yeah.
But running the ball, weird.
It's so weird when that is effective.
If we do these short little screen passes on 3rd and 20 anymore, I'm gonna kill myself. No, we don't do that anymore. Oh my God, we're so bad. But our coach, I was more excited about our coaching additions because I'm not trying to be like that. Tom Brady isn't Tom Brady because of him. He's Tom Brady because he has Bill Belichick. So if Kirk Cousins finds the right coach for him, I think we're going to be great.
Yeah, I mean, like, when looking back at, like, Kirk Cousins' stats, I mean, like, they weren't awful. Like, he was right 425 for 606, had a 70% completion rating, almost 4,300 yards, 30 touchdowns, 10 picks. But like it's like that middle of the road, like passable. He's not gonna be like, oh my god, I'm gonna go out and like win you a million games, but
Yeah.
he's passable. So my question to you is like, for $84 million, is it okay if you have a great running game, if you have a great defense, to just have a passable quarterback at the helm?
What, Mom? I know it's hard.
I
My
wasn't
mom's like,
expecting
my
him to
mom's like,
ask questions.
Mama Vikings like pacing. I I think that I'm sorry. What? Okay, so if we have a running game and a defense, do we need a quarterback? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, is it okay that like Kirk Cousins, even though you paid him $84 million, is just passable?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, that's a hard question.
No,
But
absolutely.
yeah, I believe in him though, but people really put him down.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's if he came in at like a normal size contract, like not one that was for its time, like absolutely insane and ridiculous, I feel like he would have had some more flexibility. And you brought up Teddy Bridgewater. I have not met a Vikings fan that disliked Teddy Bridgewater. I feel like he was so beloved in Minnesota. And like, again, I'm happy he got a chance, right, to go to another team. But, you know,
Enemy.
yeah, exactly. It's always a what if, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, that was just a tough time for the Vikings because AP getting suspended, Bridgewater goes down. I mean, that was we're like, oh, okay. And that just changed the momentum for that whole season. But I think that's a big game. That was just a big turning point for the Vikings in general.
yeah, and I know when speaking to Vikings fans last season, I know we were still kind of like in disbelief because I mean how it's been now for the past couple years, it's been the Packers and the Vikings, right? As the Vikings have
Of
been
course.
like emerging and the Packers have been there for a while now, and they're the ones who really butt heads. And then the Bears like just came out of nowhere because they got Khalil Mack, and we're like, haha, here we go. And like again, blew us both away. And even halfway through the season, I'm like, nah, this not right. Like they're not going to be good, and they won the division. But again, thankfully the Eagles came through again and made my dreams come true. So
Same.
so it's one of those things that now in the NFC North, which is arguably the best division in football,
Hell yeah.
it's come to a point like who do you see? Obviously, like the Packers and Vikings. I feel like everybody's rival in the NFC North is the Packers because everyone hates the Packers. I get it. But at the same time, like how much attention are you paying to the Bears because they're a team that obviously can, sweep the division, except, not us.
I don't think this year. I think it's gonna be you or us. Like what?
How can they sweep it?
Yeah, well, yeah, you already beat them. So
That's
they
what I
can't
said.
sweep
They
it.
could sweep the division except us because we took
He
care
said
of
except us.
business.
Mama Viking, he said, accept us.
Yeah, we took care of business. Don't you worry. Don't you worry, Mama Viking. We took care of it. If they sweep you, it is what it is. I'm sorry. You're just you're the sacrifice. But so yeah, like what team are you paying attention to more?
Well, no, I'm more. You guys got new coaching, and that you can't. Number 12 is one of the greatest.
Yes.
I'm always scared of him. I'm always scared of number 12.
I am going to play this back so many times in my darkest moments of I'm afraid of Aaron Rodgers. One more time. I'm afraid of Aaron Rodgers, just over and over again. Now
I can't. We can't be. We can, when we're winning next week. Like I can't even. We got to be up at least 4 scores in the fourth quarter. You can't give Aaron Rodgers 2 minutes and be up by 4 scores.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, I know.
That's so great. I love that man so much. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, like again, I think next week is definitely going to be a great game. I think it has potential to be a great game. And obviously week 1, both your team looked very impressive. Our defense looked pretty good. Our offense was struggling a bit. So it's going to be interesting because the Packers.
But that's where the Bears are good because they remind me of us when Zimmer first took over. Their defense, sick defense.
Yep.
Trubisky, he's just young too. I think he's going to be fine. It's just he's too young to tell right now.
Yeah, I think he's going to be one of those guys that, again, I feel like he's going to be like a passable quarterback, right? Like he'll show his flashes of like, hey, I could be really good, but I don't think he's ever going to set the world on fire.
People are like, can I curse on this podcast?
Yeah, absolutely.
Shitting on him, and I was like, okay. Have you seen like Christian Ponder or any other quarterbacks I have to deal with?
Yeah.
Like he's fine. He's just really young.
Yeah, I mean, again, and he's been thrown out into this system, and obviously has a great defense. But I mean, he got sacked a bunch.
Your defense looked great.
Our defense did look great, and that's the first time I've said that in like 5 years. So
Yeah.
I'm actually really looking forward to that. But it's gonna be interesting to see, the offensive display that the Vikings put on Sunday, to see if that was, because again, it's week 1, right? The Bears might still win they might win the division, but like, because again, these teams, whether it's the Packers, the Vikings, what have you, are gonna look completely different in 8 weeks anyway. So it's
completely different.
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to see, like, because for example, when you guys always play us, for whatever reason, no one ever thinks to cover Stephon Diggs, because Stephon Diggs just has like 150 yards every single time he plays us. But it's gonna be interesting to see, like, if it's the kind of like same old story comes next Sunday.
Well, sometimes I feel like with division games, logic kind of goes out the window.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, our secondary is sick. So the only thing is, but the whole thing with just tell Anthony Barr looked really good yesterday. I'm just saying.
That's fine.
No,
Listen.
literally, I know. Like, I don't want you to torture. Well, I kind of want you to be tortured, but like, just watch the first play of the game yesterday. The first drive, first play of the game. Matty Ice, Anthony Barr, bam, sacked. I was like, oh, and we're here. Okay.
Oh, hello. Yeah. So all of that, right? So again, high expectations this season. You're saying it's kind of a make or break year. What are your kind of like expectations / predictions for this Vikings team? Again, I know it's just going into week 2, but based on everything that's riding on it, do you see yourselves as winning the division? Do you see yourself making as a wild card? Where do you kind of see this?
Oh, no, we're taking back the division. We had to get over last year. Like, we're letting that go. And like I said, this is make or break. We've built a team, and that can go to the Super Bowl. And the way we okay, I heard you get really quiet. Or that little noise you made.
I'm sorry. It was I tried biting my tongue so much. I was just like,
all right, you watch, buddy. We're going to postseason this year. We're winning the division, and we had it. The last year was just nonsense. We 8-7-1, and we should have not lost that game against the Bears. That was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, like I think the Bears are one of those teams that obviously they have a very good defense, right? They have.
Why are people out looking us? We're just as or even better as the Bears and Packers. Who do you think are going to win the division?
I mean, listen, I know it's your birthday, so like I don't know if you've had a few. Like I don't know if it's kind of like clouding the judge, or maybe the mic and reception is bad. But I think you said that you're going to win the division, and like all I want to say is that it's only September. You're talking about Catholicism. Christmas is still many months away. So like I don't know if Santa's going to hear this one this year. So there always is next year, and we are playing on Christmas Eve. So
I know we are in our home.
So yeah, I'm excited to get our first win it's a pretty stadium. It definitely is. It's a pretty stadium, and I'm looking forward to finally winning in it.
Boy,
I'm gonna thoroughly enjoy that. I mean, but
do you think you guys are winning the division this year?
I don't. I have to say I don't know, to be completely honest, because going into the Bears game, even beforehand, I'm like, this season is either going to surpass everyone's expectation and we're gonna be like a 10-6 team, or we're gonna completely bomb because again, new coaches, new schemes, a lot of new players, etc. But what I saw, I didn't like what I saw on the offense, but what I saw on the defense, I was like, oh, okay. And all I've said now for years since we've had Aaron Rodgers, if we have a somewhat competent defense,
like the Vikings.
Yeah, no, you guys have a better defense than us. Absolutely. You've had a better defense for us since like the beginning of time.
Our defense is nasty.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. There's probably a ton of foot fungus all over that locker room, and you know what? I bet it's Anthony Barr, and he should really clean that up. But I think that it is definitely going to be a 3-way competition because for the division.
Well, obviously, none of us have to worry about the Lions.
That that was the most Lions thing I've ever seen in my life. Like I saw it in like the third quarter and I was like, oh wow, like Lions are really taking it to Arizona, what have you. Okay, and I picked the Lions to win because, Kyler Murray first game and their offensive line is horrendous. But I was like, oh, okay, this will be fine. And then I saw it ended in a tie. I could not stop laughing. And I was like, this is the epitome of the Lions. They're like, hey guys, you're always forgetting about us. I'm like, honey, this is why. This is why we forget about you. It's great. It's great. We love
the
them.
Vikings will beat the Packers twice and we'll lose the Lions. We're so stupid like that sometimes.
We've gotten swept 2 seasons in a row by the Lions. So yeah, listen, I hear you. You're preaching to the choir. So, and I have that from Detroit fans. But looking ahead to next Sunday. All right, so if we're breaking down the game predictions, you said earlier you were like, playing in Lambeau Field, you guys haven't beaten us in a little bit. You might have our number. So
we do have your number.
I mean, yeah, I did call you. Yes, that is 100% true. But we're talking about how the Packers are so much better. I think you just said the Packers were amazingly better than the Vikings in every way. I'll get it back somehow. But anyway, do you think? How do you feel the game is going to go on Sunday? Like, what are your honest, as non-biased as possible predictions?
This, it's going to be tough.
I know.
Well, no, it's going to be all about the defense. But
it might be a low-scoring game. It might be.
I don't think it's going to be like a shootout, but like if we keep up our running game like we do, I don't think you guys have a chance. But I gotta say, the only person I'm concerned about is Trey Waynes on our side.
Okay.
If he's with Devontae or anyone, I don't know. I just like that was my vision yesterday when watching Matty Ice. Is Trey Waynes caused a lot of problems for me yesterday. That was the only concern I had. And our third down penalties.
Oh yeah, we had 10 penalties opening night. So yeah. Yeah, it was disgusting just to watch. But so did the Bears. It literally was just like gross football as I stood there. I was like, I'm really happy we won, but God, that was ugly as hell. The only bright spot was like that defense and the one drive.
And to hold Aaron Rodgers to 200 yards, I mean, that's great defense.
Yeah, absolutely. And we knew that going in. Again, like even when the Vikings are coming in next week, we know that we're going to be playing a very good defense. There's no doubt about it. No matter how much I hate your purple faces, I have to admit, like, you have a very good defense. And listen, there is a history of Stephon Diggs. Obviously, you have Adam Thielen, who had an amazing year last year and just completely just blew the league open. So, coming down to it, do you think the Vikings are going to take it on Sunday, or do you think it's going to potentially fall to the Packers just because we're due one?
Well, yeah, you haven't beat us in a couple of years.
Oh God, man. Listen, we were on the same couch last year. The same couch. Listen, January came and neither of us were there because the Bears.
All right, we were golfing. All right. So listen, I got to believe in my team. We're gonna beat you.
Okay. All right.
But you. And we believe in the Virgin Mary.
Yeah, defense and the running game. We're in.
It was incredible how much we ran the ball and how much we scored when we ran the ball.
Yeah.
And then when Dalvin's running and opening up Stephon Diggs, that will be amazing.
Yeah. So Darius Smith is literally just going to consume Kirk Cousins' soul. And I am all about it. You're going to see his soul leave his body.
We'll see.
And it's going to be, I'm wishing no injury upon anyone, but I hope he eats his soul. Like literally takes it and just like holds it in a jar on the sideline. That's kind of what I'm hoping for here because we'd like to keep it family friendly.
Well, I hope, I just got to say Barr, that I hope Barr, gives Aaron a nice hug.
I cannot wait for Aaron Rodgers to throw for 300 yards against you and just like 4 touchdowns. And then it's going to be.
We're not getting that.
You know what? I was a little cautious about this game, but yeah, Packers are going to win. It's going to be like 27-13 because, Kirk Cousins is going to be like, oh no, I got to learn how to throw the ball. And then, he's going to get hit and money is going to fall out of his pockets. And it's just going to remind Vikings fans, why did we give him so much? And it's really going to be a great day. So I'm really looking forward to Sunday's game.
No pack.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, listen, all I'm saying is that AMarie, you sound like a diehard Vikings fan, and I really, I just wanted to know, like, when is the community service over? Like, are you still in a graduate program where you have to do
Excuse
community
me.
service and like help out the
I love my
poor?
Vikes, all right?
Okay, that's fine. So
They cause me to drink from time to time.
absolutely, absolutely. And I will say one other thing. Again, Jan, you could always come home. You could always come home. Bart Star. It's the legacy is waiting for you. And I'll talk to Aaron about the mustache, and we'll see if he can keep like a little thing going on. But I'm just saying, if at any point during the season you call me, you ask your daughter for my number, you call me, and we'll work through this. It'll be like an AA meeting essentially. And listen, we can bring you back to actual Super Bowl relevance, because
Oh boy.
what Zimmer is promising you, you've been there before. Oh, Brett Favre was going to solve your problems? No, he wasn't.
Oh.
Again, he didn't. Because again, he let you down just like he let us down, just with interceptions.
Okay, AP dropped the ball a couple times, and those Saints are dirty.
And Hurricane Katrina, they need the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I just want Minnesota to go through well, can't really have a blizzard or
I
anything.
was about to say, I was like, are you wishing a hurricane upon your city for a better storyline? Because that does sound like what a Vikings fan would wish for. But I just want to get this clear as we wrap up. I think what you're telling me is the Saints, they had the Hurricane Katrina thing, right? So they had to win. So
and a bounty system, and
Sure, but let's forget about that. Let's forget all about the bad stuff that refutes my point. Let's talk about the stuff that makes my point. And what the point is, I think what you're saying is that since the hurricane hit them, kind of like there was some divine intervention going on, right? And saying hey, this is the Saints' year because they're God's team just for this year. So with that being said, Jan, again, I know you're a devout Catholic, really, really studying the good book. And so can you really root for a team that God is against? I mean, that's
Okay.
You're so funny.
Oh my God, this has been the greatest podcast ever.
And you're gonna love this. So I ended up a Viking fan, and my dad ended up a New England Patriots fan.
Oh, wait a minute.
that
So
one out.
both of you defected? What? Both of you did? Okay, so there's a history in this family of just being like Benedict Arnold over here. Okay. You know what? Okay. All right, I see how it is now. All right, so we're just defecting. And you go to the two worst teams too. At least you kept it within the division. But he's like, I'm going to go be a Patriots fan? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. That's just, no. Okay, well, I have now found out everything that I need to know about everything. But a big thank you to both of you for making this an absolute wonderful episode. And AMarie, I know you got lots of things going on in your life about the comedies and the podcasts. And, tell the wonderful peoples everywhere that they can find your face.
Okay. I just started working for Jim Jack's Media. I'll be blogging for NFL, and then I'm covering Vikings with doing a podcast, Heart Skol. But it's not just Vikings, so you just won't throw up the whole time. It's actually very enjoyable. And then tomorrow I got breakout artist at Caroline's, so I'm headlining Caroline's at 7:30 p.m. And then I'm based out of NYC in general, so I'm always performing except on Sundays now.
I get you. That's respect. That's respect.
Yeah. But other than that, and then you can follow me, Part-Time Bro, on any social media platform.
Wonderful. And a big thank you to the both of you for a wonderful episode. And I would wish you luck for this season, but now that I know that you were a former Packers fan and just the product of, I'm sorry, again, just pure blasphemy and traitorous actions, I don't wish you luck on the rest of the year. But maybe you could beat the Lions or something, and help us out. Maybe you beat the Lions or something, because that'd be fun. Or you know what? Beat the Bears. There you go. You guys can beat the Bears. You can do it.
We can beat the Bears once.
Yeah, that's fine. Beat them twice. Why not? Beat them twice. My hat's off to you. That's fine, because I'm afraid of the team that's actual competition for the Packers, and that's the Bears. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you. This was actually, like, I thought I was going to hate this whole 45 minutes of my life.
Absolutely. But listen, you could never, even if we went 60 minutes, it would not be as worse as watching a full Vikings game. So it could never, ever be that bad. But thank
yeah,
you.
because you know what? The fourth quarter wasn't fun because that whole prevent defense and we let them score after smashing them. Yeah, I hate that crap.
Oh, God, it just really just sucks the fun out of everything. But
Typical Vikings.
I mean, if it makes you feel better, you won't be paying any prevent defenses this week because it'll just be running for your life defenses. So we got that going for us. But
Tom,
me,
I'm
I just heard the
I'm
voice of God. Wow, that was loud. Okay,
Jen?
yes,
Okay, I just have one thing to say.
please.
No, Pack, no.
Yes, go Pack Go, Jan. I completely
Jan has to
agree.
go take
Go
a
Pack
Pack-
Go, absolutely. Because I am going
Sorry.
to edit that to the maximum so it says Go Pack Go, and I'm going to post it on every social media platform and send it to Roger Goodell. So.
Yeah, well, Jan has to go take a phone call, and it's almost happy hour, so we got,
I got you. You got stuff. You got things. But thank you guys so much for coming on. It was wonderful to talk to you.
Thank you.
Of course.
I don't wish you luck this weekend, but I hope to perform with you someday.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you later.
Tom.
Take care. Bye bye. God, it is gonna be so awkward if they beat us. So go Pack Go. You can always find me at TomGrossiComedy.com or at TomGrossiComedy on all social media. See down below. Check out Packast on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play Music, Spotify, and the YouTubes. And of course, thank you and a big shout out to all the Patreon members over at patreon.com/TomGrossiComedy for your love, support, and money. But it should be a good week. We're back home at Lambeau. But thank you so much for watching. I'm Tom Grossi. And as always, go Pack Go.